It is 6 o'clock, and I call the Tuesday, November 7th City Commission meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Mayor Hassel.
Here.
Commissioner Butler.
Here.
Commissioner Motta.
Here.
Commissioner Morse.
Present.
Mayor, we have 4 commissioners present. The quorum of 3 is met.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since this is the first Tuesday of the month, we have some time for public comments. You'll have up to, these are for items that are not on tonight's consent agenda. You have up to 5 minutes. We won't debate you, but we'll take everything you say under advisement. Is there anybody who would like to comment on something that's not on the consent agenda? Because that's the only agenda we have tonight. All right, I will close public comment. Commissioners, do you have any comments?
Mayor, I'd just like to call attention to the Thanksgiving dinner that's being held here in the community for members of the community. It's being sponsored by Common Table, and as you know, that's a coalition of churches here in our area that have coordinate the evening meals, a meal every night of the week for low income, homeless, lonely, whatever, people who need that. And so they're rising to the occasion to host a Thanksgiving dinner. We haven't done that for a couple of years because of the pandemic. And I think I recall that it's being held at the Presbyterian Church here in their big auditorium. So you might stay tuned for that information, for more information about it, because I'm not sure of the hours. But I'm just really pleased that, you know, one year I had wasn't feeling really well, and I couldn't go to where my family was, and so I went to the community meal wherever it was and stayed away from people. You know, I said, don't sit by me, but I did see people and had a good meal. So there are times when it is just that spirit of the community that we have in this town, and we look for it and want to. Sometimes it affects us. So that's all. Thanks.
All right, John, Lynn?
Yeah, one quick note, Friday is the Veterans Day Parade on the 10th instead of the 11th, and of course, City Hall will be closed, so turn out for the parade.
And you still have 57 minutes to vote if you haven't already, so make your move if you're going to. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. These are items of a routine or housekeeping nature, or items that have been previously reviewed by the City Commission. The Commissioner may request an item be removed for separate discussion. Any comment from the public will be allowed on any of these items. Commissioners, do you have any questions about any of the consent agenda items?
I do have one question about C4. The future land use plan associated with the comprehensive plan. We're eliminating the reference to, eliminating the document on the Points Avenue Corridor District Plan. And the developer has asked to drop the Hartford Hill Master Plan. But my concern is about the Points Avenue plan. And if we eliminate it, then there's nothing in place with regard to what can go there other than just the residential considerations. Is there are you going to be bringing something else to replace the Points Avenue corridor plan? Are you going to be proposing big commercial buildings along there? What is it that the community should expect if we eliminate this?
I think Stephanie's zooming in this evening.
Okay.
The team's in. Stephanie, can you respond to that?
I can. Good evening, Commissioners. Stephanie Peterson. Yes, so I did some looking after the last meeting we had, Commissioner Morse. The Points Avenue corridor plan is, I believe it's from 1994, so it's a little bit out of date there. Our plan right now is that in 2024, we would begin this in-house effort to update that Points Avenue corridor plan, basically from where the current the Beyond Tomorrow downtown plan ends, all the way over to Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. I can't speak to what that land use aspect will look like. We'll go through a community engagement activity, several of those, in fact. And at the end of that in-house effort to come up with that future land use and kind of the community vision for that corridor, we'll end up, part of our plan is to hire an engineering consultant to actually help us get to the design aspect. We've thrown out a few ideas over the years. The Flint Hills MPO even did some modeling of the Poyntz Avenue corridor to look at the transportation aspect. But that'll be about a year-long process for us to come up with what that future vision looks like for Poyntz Avenue.
I would, personally, I would rather keep the old plan in place while we do a study and then implement, implement the new one and delete the old one, rather than having nothing in place for the next 2 years. So I'm going to vote no on that one.
Okay. Any other commissioners, any other questions, comments on any of these items? All right, we will throw it open to the public. If anyone in the public would like to comment on any of these consent agenda items, come forward. If not, we will close public comments. Is there a motion from the commission?
What happened?
It's public comment. Well, we've got a couple minutes. We'll reopen it for public comment.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. State your name and address.
My name's Emily Thiessen, and I live at 830 Leavenworth Street. And I was so, we just love living downtown, and I was so thrilled to hear that there is monies available for workforce housing, and I was just curious if there was any thoughts about, you know, the downtown, using those downtown, or like we think our downtown's so wonderful, and I was just curious if there were any plans for that money yet.
Go ahead.
Thanks for that question. And Stephanie, you can chime in here also. We have a workforce housing steering committee that's looking at making, studying a lot of issues, and ultimately we'll be making some recommendations on how best to use those funds. They just did start being accumulated this year, so
Okay.
more to come. Stay
Awesome.
tuned.
Go ahead and sign in on the sheet there if you
Yes.
could. And
Thanks so much.
Yeah, everything's on the table at this point. Any bright idea, we're willing to listen. Okay, I think we close public comment generally otherwise, so if everyone make a motion,
I move we approve the consent agenda.
is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Motta,
Yes.
Commissioner Morse,
Yes, except on C4, I vote no.
Mayor Hassel.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with the exception of item C4, which carries 3-1.
Well, that is it for tonight, folks. Thanks for coming. The meeting is adjourned.
Move to
Oh, we
adjourn
gotta
the
have a
November
motion.
7th, 2023 City Commission meeting.
I second.
Okay, now it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Commissioner Motta,
Yes.
Commissioner Morse,
Yes.
Mayor Hassel,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Motion
Eight
carried.
minutes, the shortest meeting ever.
Motion carries 4-0.
Very good. Now the meeting's adjourned.
It might be good to mention that because the elections are today, we've kept the agenda short.